The Amor Mountains was only a minor area in the Tranquil Sea region. Their representatives in the previous Dragon Envoy of Carlton's selection were almost completely eliminated. Thus, Leo King hoped the geniuses representing his area this time would have a Dragon Envoy of Carlton, or he could be satisfied even if they claimed a spot as the Carlton Guards. One person, that was all he hoped for. Even if he only got one representative, it would prevent him from becoming a laughing stock to other areas.
Leo King? Oh, Leo King. I'd advise you to stop wasting your breath. I told you I don't think the Amor Mountains will make it this time. I've sent my guys from Devil Repressed Abyss to hunt after your men. Do you think anyone from the Amor Mountains survived that? Even if your eyes pop out of their sockets, you won't get to see any of them. Stop daydreaming. If I were you, I'd have left this place already instead of humiliating myself here.
Several elders from the Devil Repressed Abyss sat next to Henry Miles, and they also joined in to ridicule Leo King. The Devil Repressed Abyss and the Amor Mountains had been enemies for generations, with each side wishing the other side would be completely wiped out. The Devil Repressed Abyss was powerful enough to make that happen, unlike the Amor Mountains. Hence, Leo King could only pray to all gods that someone from his area could become a Carlton Guard. He could settle with even a Carlton Guard position. That way, he could at least escape from being humiliated by his enemies.
Henry Miles, aren't you afraid of embarrassing yourself later for you to mock me so soon? The final challenge has just started. We are yet to see who passed the challenges. How could you be so sure that no one from our Amor Mountains will become the Dragon Envoy of Carlton? You should be careful of karma biting you back later.
Henry Miles and the other elders laughed out loud when they heard that.
Karma? Leo King, you're stubborn, aren't you? Don't you realize how ridiculous you look right now?
Other elders from other regions also laughed at that. Leo King was so angry that his face turned livid, and he trembled in anger. Still, there was nothing he could do. It was a fact that the Amor Mountains were indeed not as strong as the Devil Repressed Abyss.
Henry Miles, aren't you being too much?
Some elders of other minor areas chose to side with Leo King. Facing them, Henry Miles sneered and called them losers before ignoring their protests. A buzzing sound rang out. On the fourth area, which was separated from the three main areas, runes kept leaping around as a weak light emitted there. Someone appeared there. He was a young man in his early 20s. He shook his head and sighed, looking extremely disappointed in himself. It was clear that he had failed the challenge, not even passing the first challenge. Most of the leading elders present were not surprised by that. The selection of the Dragon Envoy of Carlton was extremely strict. If one could become a Dragon Envoy of Carlton so easily, that position would not carry so much value and importance. Moreover, the elders were more focused on those who were appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton and the Carlton Guards. The eliminated candidates were not worthy of their attention. Soon, more and more candidates showed up. However, none of them could become Carlton Guards. Zane Martel had walked up several hundred stairs above the lake, and he finally reached the top. There was a gigantic cloud at the top of the stairs, and the cloud had two doors. Each door had runes the size of tadpoles swimming around. One door had the word Carlton Guards written on it, whereas the other door had Dragon Envoy of Carlton written on it. A majestic aura was emitted from the door with Dragon Envoy of Carlton written on it, and it was several times stronger than the other door.
You will become a Carlton Guard if you choose the door with Carlton Guards written on it. If you enter through the other door, you will welcome your next challenge and become the Dragon Envoy of Carlton if you succeed. Otherwise, you will be qualified as a Carlton Guard.
Without thinking, Zane Martel pushed open the second door and walked inside. He had no idea who set up these challenges, and he could not fathom if anyone would give up becoming a Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Moreover, even if he had failed, he would still become a Carlton Guard. Anyone with a sane mind would surely choose the same path as him. After he pushed open the door, what welcomed him were endless stars. It felt as though he had stepped into a galaxy. The stars were glittering and flickering around him. Looking up, he saw clusters of stars gathering together and forming a certain pattern. Suddenly, the stars began to change drastically. Countless stars gathered together. Then, a middle-aged man stepped out of the stars. The middle-aged man's body was transparent, like an illusion, but his aura was exceptionally powerful.
He's at the peak of the 8th stage in the expert level.
Zane Martel's pupils shrank. He was certainly a top martial artist for him to be at the peak of the 8th stage in the expert level.
If you can defeat me, you will be qualified as a Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Show me what you've got.
The middle-aged man grabbed the void with one hand. Countless stars gathered into a saber in his hand, and his body erupted with intense, murderous intent. His murderous aura made Zane Martel feel like he was in a sea of blood with piles of skeletons below his feet.
I guess he's a clone of a top martial artist in the Carlton Dragon Palace, which makes his power less than 1% of his original body. But with his strong, murderous intent, I guess he must be a legendary warrior.
Zane Martel's expression changed at that thought.
Die!
The middle-aged man shouted, and the saber in his hand shone bright like the stars. His saber radiance charged at Zane Martel like lightning bolts.
Human Emperor's palm.
Zane Martel struck out his palm. The sound of thunder was heard, and the wind whistled. Two powers of nature merged in his hand, releasing a terrifying power wave. The Human Emperor's palm hit the middle-aged man, and the enormous power directly devoured the middle-aged man and turned him into starlight. One move. Zane Martel used only one move to kill the middle-aged man's clone. He was very powerful. However, it was not Zane Martel's strongest combat strength. He did not even have to use all his strength to eliminate such an opponent. After the middle-aged man disappeared, two doors appeared in the same spot again. One door had Dragon Envoy of Carlton written on it, whereas the other had Dragon Envoy of Newland written on it. The Dragon Envoy of Newland was the leader of the Dragon Envoy of Carlton from the southern Tranquil Sea region, making the chosen candidate the strongest among all. One could not become the Dragon Envoy of Newland based on his strength alone, but he also must be equipped with certain talents and comprehension. Hence, it could be imagined how tough the challenge would be behind that door. However, Zane Martel did not hesitate at all as he stepped inside the door with the Dragon Envoy of Newland written on it. As soon as he stepped inside, the scenery around him changed. A sea of flames rose into the sky as if trapping him in an erupting volcano. Hot flames danced around him. The scorching temperature kissed Zane Martel's skin, almost dehydrating him. There was an extreme power of fire amidst the rolling flames.
Power of fire. Could it be that the challenge this time is to let me fight a top martial artist that has mastered the power of fire?
Zane Martel vaguely guessed the situation. Right then, the flames around him suddenly rolled and condensed at a certain point, slowly forming an illusion of an elderly man.
Congratulations. You guys have proven to be rather powerful to be able to advance to this challenge. But then your skills aren't the only factor to determine if you're qualified to become a Dragon Envoy of Newland, but your talents too. This challenge is designed to simulate a power of nature that is unfamiliar to you based on the powers of nature that you have mastered. Before all the sand in the hourglass goes out, if you manage to master the power of nature to the beginner's level, you will be considered to have passed the test and are qualified to compete to become the Dragon Envoy of Newland.
With that, the elderly man's figure erupted and formed into a gigantic hourglass. However, the hourglass was not filled with sand, but raging flames instead. The moment the hourglass appeared, the flames inside drilled down at a certain speed.
Was he supposed to master the power of fire before the sand went out? Judging by the flowing sand of the hourglass, it seemed like he had only 2 hours at most. Was there something wrong with the Carlton Dragon Palace to expect them to master an unfamiliar power of nature in 2 hours?
Zane Martel was so angry that his eyes were burning with flames of anger. He wished he could curse at whoever designed this challenge. The difference between the difficulty of this challenge and the previous challenge was too huge. Moreover, it was almost impossible to master an unfamiliar power of nature within 2 hours. It was worth mentioning that Zane Martel spent 2 whole months when he first comprehended the power of wind. He had only succeeded in comprehending the power of thunder after absorbing many thunder elements and eating the thunder spiritual fruit. However, Zane Martel still tried to calm himself down from his surging anger. He started pondering the power of fire and began comprehending it. Meanwhile, in the final assessment square on Blood Lotus Island, some people were already sent into the Dragon Envoy of Carlton area, making them the official Dragon Envoy of Carlton.
Ha ha ha, he's from the Azure Spirit region. Amazing.
A leading elder of the Azure Spirit region laughed happily. The Azure Spirit region was a medium-level area that only had one or two selected candidates appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton in previous years.
Congratulations, congratulations.
The other leading elders quickly congratulated him.
Thanks.
He laughed in response and cupped his hands to thank them. As time went by, more and more people were sent out from their final challenge. Some were not qualified as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Some were qualified as the Carlton Guards, whereas some were honorably appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Each time someone was officially appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton, there would be excited and surprised laughter from the crowd, which was immediately followed by congratulatory messages from the elders around them. However, Leo King, Henry Miles, and the others in the area could not laugh at all. Their expressions were ashen. Half an hour had passed since the beginning of the selection, but none of their representatives had shown up. It was not a big deal to the Amor Mountains, since most people did not have high hopes for this place. However, everyone else was surprised to see that there were yet to be representatives from the devil-repressed abyss at the arenas.
Can't believe this. Even if they're weak, I believe Jade Walraff can at least survive the challenges and become a Dragon Envoy of Carlton. What the hell happened in Strange Little World?
Henry Miles' expression was extremely solemn. Suddenly, Medicine Costa appeared in the Carlton Guards area. Medicine Costa passed the challenge of the stairs, but he could not defeat the middle-aged man in the second round, so he could only end up being a Carlton Guard.
Medicine Costa? He is Medicine Costa from our Amor Mountains.
Leo King recognized Medicine Costa at a glance and immediately nodded. Although he could not become a Dragon Envoy of Carlton, at least Medicine Costa was alive and became a Carlton Guard, which saved Leo King from public humiliation. However, before Leo King could process that, another short and chubby guy appeared in the Dragon Envoy of Carlton area. It was none other than Victor Quinn.
Victor Quinn, it's Victor Quinn from our Amor Mountains. He's appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton.
Leo King could not help laughing out loud. He was ecstatic. Victor Quinn was the top genius on the Amor Genius list, so Leo King was not worried about his strength. However, he was worried that the evil disciples from the devil-repressed abyss would attack Victor Quinn in the Strange Little World. Now he could be rest assured about that. Many people approached and congratulated Leo King.
Congratulations to you guys, too.
On the contrary, Henry Miles and other leading elders from the devil-repressed abyss looked terrible. Not only did someone from the Amor Mountains survive the challenges, but they also had someone appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Yet what about the devil-repressed abyss? Not to mention being appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton or a Carlton Guard, they were yet to see anyone showing up alive.
Jade Walraff, what the hell are you and others doing? Hurry up and show yourselves. It felt too strange. Could it be that everyone from the devil-repressed abyss was killed in the Strange Little World?
Little did he know, that was indeed true. Jade Walraff, the strongest person in the devil-repressed abyss, was killed by Zane Martel, just like Stephen River from the Giant Devil sect. In fact, Zane Martel killed many geniuses from the devil-repressed abyss. As for the other remaining disciples, they were led by another genius in their area to ambush Dante Kane. Naturally, they were all killed by Dante Kane. Only a few of them were left, and it was not a bizarre idea that they all died in the Strange Little World.
No way. No way.
Henry Miles might have been driven to death by his anger if he had learned that most of the disciples from his devil-repressed abyss were killed by disciples from the Amor Mountains.
Ha! Henry Miles, don't worry. Maybe all your devil-repressed abyss disciples have died in the Strange Little World before coming here.
Oh no. They won't die since they're from the devil-repressed abyss. They must have ambushed my guys from the Amor Mountains. So I guess it's safe to say all of them are now trying their best in the last challenge.
Yes, that's right. It must be like that.
Leo King grinned, feeling extremely refreshed. Henry Miles could not stop mocking him just now, and karma was now haunting him.
Leo King, you have gone too far.
Henry Miles's cheeks were flushed with blood. He was so close to standing up and picking a fight with Leo King.
Calm down. But if I were you, I would leave now instead of humiliating myself here.
Leo King returned what Henry Miles had told him earlier. Henry Miles was infuriated and wanted to beat Leo King up. But then, he could only block out Leo King's and other mocking voices as he stared at the Dragon Envoy of Carlton area with his bloodshot eyes.